Hello, Moonbeams. Welcome back. This week's podcast here at the Mystic Moon School, we are going to discuss the Cancer full moon. I am Donna, your astrology guide, and we have, I believe, a very emotional, significant full moon in Cancer happening this week on January 13th, approximately 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to discuss today the significations of the sign of Cancer and the fourth house, which Cancer rules, and talk about all of this in the context of where this is showing up in your chart based on whole sign houses and based on your rising sign. So we're going to get into it in just a minute or so, but this is definitely, this has been a very emotional end of the year and beginning of the new year for so many of us. Now, I really believe that whoever tunes into my channel, we are resonating at the same energy, in the same energy stream. And so you're called to my channel, you're called to my energy and the information that I share here because it resonates with you on an energetic level and it's showing up in your life. And so, of course, that doesn't mean that every single, tidbit that I share here is going to resonate, but hopefully there is at least one message in each podcast that is for you, that validates what you're going through or feeling or thinking about, that acknowledges you and your experience. And I always approach astrology from a very non-judgmental, spiritual perspective. I believe astrology to be a form of divination. And so this is the lens through which I interpret. Oftentimes I will be channeling information during this podcast, during the sessions that I offer one-on-one with people. Many people have received very specific channeled messages through me during a reading. And so this is the lens, like I said, through which I see astrology. And this full moon in Cancer, I feel the energies have already been building for a couple of weeks now. If you tuned into my last podcast, I believe I mentioned that my dear friend, she's been my friend since I was 13 years old. She had just moved into hospice at the time of that recording. And then a couple of days later, she did pass. And so this was how my friends and I and my friends' extended family and all of the people that she really touched in a very beautiful, emotional way in her life, came together to close out the year, to say goodbye to her. And this has been a year almost, not actually even a year, since she had her diagnosis in January of 2024, and then transitioned on December 30th. And this has been a very long road for all of us in our group to really come together as a village for our friend. We were her family, really. And I know that so many of you listening, so many of you who have reached out to me to have readings done, coaching, I mean, we are all experiencing some big endings. We are finding ourselves in a transitional space right now. And this is really significant because as we move into 2025, things are really going to begin to shift and change in our external world. But, our internal world, our emotional world, which, that is what the moon represents in the chart, is not separate from the external world. The internal world within us and the external world of our manifestations of our tangible life are interconnected. And so when we experience something in our world, it's significant, it shifts us significantly internally, and vice versa, right? When we are ready and we are shifting our perspectives, our emotional awareness, feeling like we are done with a certain dynamic within us, then when that internal shift happens, then everything in our external world starts to shift and change as well. And so it's that beautiful hermetic principle of as within, so without, as above, so below. And we can apply that to the cosmos and astrology, and how what is happening with the planets and the moon and the stars and our own charts is interconnected with our life here on Earth, the internal and the external. It's all interconnected. And so this full moon in Cancer, full moons in and of themselves are about completion, ending a cycle, because the moon ends her monthly cycle with the full moon. She reaches full illumination and culminates the cycle, and then she begins to wane until she becomes the new moon and begins a new cycle. And so one of the significations of a full moon is that we are closing out something, a cycle, a chapter. We are finishing something, we are graduating, we are culminating. But it can also be something is becoming so brightly illuminated within us, within our perspective, within our beliefs, within our world. Sometimes it signifies the truth coming to light. And of course, that truth can be a truth within you, where you finally see the truth of something about yourself, about a situation, about your beliefs, or it could be a truth manifesting, coming to light in your actual external world. Something is literally verbally being shared or revealed. And so the full moon also represents truth and, being able to see with clarity. We've all noticed on a clear night when the moon is full, how she is just like a searchlight, isn't she? And lighting up the sky, and you can see the shadows of the trees on the ground when she's so bright and, completely unobscured in the night sky. And so she can represent that for us in our internal and external world as well. And so this full moon in Cancer is for me, and I believe my collective, who I'm a part of, who we all are resonating at the same energy. We are experiencing some level of an ending. You will know what this means for you. You will know how this resonates for you in your life. And again, it can be something very internal within you where you're just done with something. You feel like you're done with a limiting belief. You're done, with listening to that fear voice within you. You're done with letting that fear voice just, take you down during your day, and you're just done with that. Maybe you're done with a relationship or a friendship, or perhaps you're done showing up in a certain dynamic, in a certain way within those friendships and relationships. Perhaps you are done with a job or a marriage, or someone in your life is transitioning and moving on. Whether that is through metaphorical or literal death, you will know how this is resonating for you. And these are just a few examples, of course. I mean, I always say trust your own intuition of how these messages land for you, because you know better than anyone what is true for you. So I'm calling this video Emotional Endings and Lovingly Mothering Yourself for all 12 signs. And we will get into that more specifically, but I just wanted to offer my support to you. I've actually been doing quite a lot of solar return readings, and it's really fascinating because you can come to a solar return reading at any point during your your birthday year. So, for those of you, for example, like I just did a solar return reading this week for someone who was born in October. And so we're just a few months into that solar return birthday year for this person. And so we have quite a few months left. And so she's really wanting to navigate with more self-awareness, understanding where the planets are in the chart for her this year, where the blessings are, where the challenges are. How can you best utilize this energy into your highest vibration and really manifest the life that you're wanting? It's a very powerful reading. It's at the same time, it's very validating for what you're living right now in the moment, and maybe even the past several months. And then it's like, okay, now I know what to do with this energy. I know how to channel it. I know where I want my focus to be. And so you can hop on over to my website if you are interested in doing a solar return reading. Sometimes I will also take a look at your progressed moon if you are feeling particularly emotional and you're not sure where that's coming from. We can look at your progressed moon, and that will give you a lot of insight on that, and also when that's going to shift. And believe me, your progressed moon is so palatable. It is so tangible. It's visceral. You feel it. I remember personally when I had shifted just last year from a Scorpio moon into a Sagittarius moon, and I am telling you, literally on the day I felt the shift. It was absolutely incredible, and a big relief too as well. So I am running a sale for the remainder of January. If you are interested in having a chart reading with me, please hop on over to the website, or if you're interested in coaching, I do look at your chart, and so I call it astro coaching, and it's really holistic coaching because I do look at your chart We do talk about what is most pressing for you at this point that you want to focus on and that you want to shift and that you want to really be more empowered around in your life. And I have lots of tools in the toolbox that I share with you. Sometimes I do give homework for those of you who love homework in between our sessions. And it's really, really very empowering. So if you're interested, hop on over to my website. I will be changing. It says December sale, but it's really the January sale. I'm extending. And I know that this is a great month for a lot of people to start to lay down their framework for the year ahead. And you may need support. So I am here for that. Okay, so I would like to give you a little bit more of an overview before we get into all 12 signs of where this Cancer full moon is showing up for you. And I do want to speak more about the significations of both Cancer and the fourth house. And the first thing I want to say is that Cancer and the moon rule the fourth house. When the moon is in the sign of Cancer, she is at home. She's got on her fuzzy socks and she is drinking her herbal tea and she's all cuddled up listening to the sounds of the ocean lapping the shore. I mean, she is at home and cozy and comforted, and this is the moon's home sign. And so that's the first thing to know, is that the moon herself, and I often will describe when I'm talking about these energies of where the moon is in the sky at the time of this lunation, she's beaming down, especially with a full moon. She is beaming down these energies to us. And the way I visualize this is that sometimes she's beaming it to our crown chakra. And she's beaming those energies right through our crown chakra to kind of filter through into our whole chakra system so that we can integrate these energies. But sometimes I see that she will beam her energies right to the third eye or the throat chakra or the heart chakra, etc., etc. And with Cancer, with the moon in Cancer, the way that I visualize this energy is that the moon is beaming all of the qualities of Cancer, both to our heart chakra and also to our solar plexus and our root. And I will explain why I see it that way. So Cancer is a water sign, and water represents our emotions and our emotional world in astrology. Water is flowing and sometimes knows no boundaries, depending on the body of water that we're talking about, right? Certainly the ocean, we need land masses to be the boundaries for the ocean, and the depths of the ocean really truly know no boundaries, that we are familiar with, at least anyway. But water signifies how we feel, not how we think about something, but how we feel about it. And when we feel something, when we are feeling our emotions, we feel it in our bodies. You know, sometimes we cry, tears come. Sometimes we feel nervousness in our system. Sometimes we feel a little pit in our stomach, in our gut. Sometimes we feel nauseous. Sometimes we laugh. Sometimes we are just overjoyed and we burst out laughing so uncontrollably, right? Sometimes we feel so deeply saddened. And our entire energy system just drops, right? So when we feel Cancer, water sign, I see that energy is being beamed right to the heart chakra, because that is our center. The heart chakra is the center of our 7 chakra system. It connects the lower chakras and the higher chakras. It is the meeting point between the divine and the earthly experience. And so I feel that all of the water signs, when the moon moves into a water sign, but specifically Cancer, that the moon she'll beam that beautiful energy right to our heart chakras. So if you're feeling called at some point, maybe after you listen to this podcast, and you want to do a little mini meditation for yourself, you could just get yourself nice and comfortable wherever you are and close your eyes and take some nice, slower, deeper belly breaths. And then focus on, in your mind's eye, picture that beautiful, bright full moon beaming her white energy light right to your heart chakra, right to your heart space. And letting whatever needs to open up and flow, to flow. And maybe you'll laugh and maybe you'll cry, or maybe you'll have a memory about something or someone, or any other number of things, right? Whatever you feel called to experience, whatever comes up for you, just allow that. Just be open. Just be open. And so Cancer definitely connects for me personally to the heart chakra. Not the only sign that does that, but Cancer is one of those signs. And also I feel that Cancer also connects, when the moon is in Cancer, she's beaming to our solar plexus and our root chakras, because Cancer is also the mother. Cancer is the crab, right? That has that hard exterior shell, can be very protective, both of oneself and in a very mama bear kind of way. And so for me, that taps into the solar plexus chakra of being in your strength and your truth, and advocating for yourself or for another. That protective quality. And then the root chakra. Cancer also correlates for me with the root chakra, because we want to feel safe and secure in our shell. And sometimes that shell does have to become armor, really protecting us from energies that don't have our well-being in mind, from the world, from lower vibrations, and however they may show up. And so that root chakra, right, where we want to feel grounded and safe and secure, that to me is depicted in the hard shell of the crab of Cancer. And so take however this may resonate for you, but this full moon, you may be feeling very tender. You may be feeling like your heart chakra is just blasted wide open and the tears just won't stop. You may feel any number of things. You know, emotions and emotional doesn't necessarily always mean sadness or anger or tears, right? Or sometimes it's overwhelming joy and exuberance, and there's a whole range of emotions that we as humans can feel. So just trust whatever's flowing through you at this full moon in Cancer. If fears are coming up for you, then I invite you to sit with them and feel how uncomfortable they feel. And if you can, ask yourself, why am I feeling this fear right now? What am I actually really afraid of here in this moment, in this situation, in this dynamic? Write down your fears, because when you do that, you're taking them out of your head and you're putting them on the paper and you're seeing them in writing, and automatically that takes some of their power away. They're not able to simply operate in the shadows of your psyche and of your ego voice. So if the fears are coming up for you and you want to just crawl back into your shell, I say that's okay if you want to self-protect. Just don't try to circumvent whatever's coming up, because whatever is coming up for you at this full moon, it needs to come up and it needs to come out. It needs to be released. And that's another hallmark of a full moon, is a release. It's a graduation. It's an ending. So if something big is coming up and you're feeling it, please just feel it and let it move through you. And then you will feel the catharsis. You will feel the cleansing of that water sign if you allow all that needs to come up to come up. And so part of what I entitled this podcast is that we are needing to lovingly mother ourselves. And the moon herself in the chart, in the natal chart, is not only representative of your emotional world, your inner emotional intelligence, how you process emotionally, your feminine nature, but the moon is also representative of your mother in your chart simultaneously. And so, this full moon, we may be really called to doing a little bit of inner child work. If you are needing to mother yourself at this time, to nurture yourself, to show yourself love and compassion, softness, kindness, understanding, hold space for yourself. Whatever you need, whatever you need emotionally in a very nurturing way, that's how you mother yourself. Not everyone has grown up with what they needed emotionally from either parent or especially their mother. And so for a variety of different reasons. And so at some point we have to have awareness around that and say, okay, well, she did her best, or she wasn't there, so she couldn't have done anything about this. But I know what I need now to feel emotionally safe and secure, and I can give that to myself. I can. And so that's one of the things that we look at when I do a chart reading with you is, are you aware of your emotional needs, and are you able to give that to yourself? And maybe you learn that from your mother because the moon does represent that in your chart, or maybe you didn't, and so you had to learn in your own way how to nurture yourself. So I say, when this podcast is aired, this will be a Sunday, the day before the full moon. And so if you have time to sit with whatever you're feeling, and if you have the opportunity to practice some self-care, and whatever that looks like for you, it looks so different for all of us, right? For some of us, it's going to the gym and eating healthy foods, and for some of us, it is journaling. For some of us, it is meditation or taking a walk in nature. For some of us, it is having a nice lunch with a friend. Like whatever self-care is for you, if you can make some time for that on Sunday, and set the intention for this full moon of what you are ready to allow to come up emotionally, so that because you're ready to release it. You will know what is ending in your life right now, whether that's internal, external, or both. You know, as I've been talking this whole time, you're like, yeah, Don, I already know. I know what this is about for me. But we're going to transition. Actually, before we do that, I do want to just speak about the fourth house a little bit as well, because Cancer rules the fourth house. And so some of these significations may be coming up for you as well, including your family of origin. So the stuff that you grew up learning from your family when you were a kid, the conditioning, the beliefs, the limitations, the culture, the religion, all the things, okay, that we grew up with, associated with our immediate families. This is all fourth house stuff. And so you may really be having some memories around this, because I'd like to remind you that the moon also rules memory. Not a lot of people know that or remember that. Remember that. But yeah, the moon does rule over our memory. And so memories from your childhood may be coming up at this full moon. You'll know why if you sit with it. Why? Why is this coming up now? Is it because I see things differently now? Is it because I'm being invited to see it differently? Is it because I'm ready to release it? You'll know why if certain memories are coming up for you at this time, what you are being asked to do with that. The fourth house can also be your home. So I mean your literal home space, wherever you're living right now. Whether you live in a treehouse or an apartment or a houseboat or a home of your own, like it's literally that space, the fourth house. And so you could be having any number of feelings about your home space. You could feel like you want to do a major decluttering and cleaning and just going through the closets and the cabinets and the drawers, like a big release at this full moon in your home space. Remember, that's super powerful energetically. When we clear out the spaces where we live, our car, our office, our desk, our whatever, we're shifting and moving energy, right? Everything holds energy, right? Everything. So if you're feeling the call to completely, clear things out and get rid of stuff, go for it, because that is an energetic pull telling you you're ready to release and you're ready to open up to new energy coming in. The fourth house is also, I interpret it also as the home within yourself. How you feel at home just by being your true, authentic self. So maybe some things are coming up for you around just feeling more at home within yourself. Like you can speak your truth. You know what you value. You know what you want and what you don't want. You know who you want to be around and who you don't. It all comes back to you and you feeling at home within yourself and just being able to move through your day in the most authentic ways possible, where you're just really taking off the different masks that we've all been, trained to wear. And so that could be something that is coming up for you as well at this full moon. Okay, I think that's all I want to say about the fourth house. We're going to shift now if you're watching the YouTube version here, this is a guide to living by the moon phases that I've created for you. It's free. You can download it on my website in my shop, and that will help you to live a more cyclical life because you'll be aligning with the 9 main moon phases each and every month. It's really powerful and empowering. So that's free for you all on my website. Okay, so we are going to begin with Aries rising. And remember, I use a whole sign chart for these interpretations. And this full moon in Cancer is illuminating the fourth house for Aries. So it's everything that I just discussed with you, feeling home within yourself, your childhood conditioning that you learned from your family of origin. It could be showing up very much in your home space, wherever you live right now. And so this full moon in Cancer is asking you to really allow whatever needs to come up and be purged or released in any or all of these areas for you in the fourth house, Aries. It could be something, like I said, as mundane as you just want to clean house, right? You just want to clean and declutter and vacuum and dust and all the things. Go through your wardrobe and get rid of stuff and donate. But it could really be like childhood memories are surfacing now. And it's because you are ready to see them in a new light and shift your perspective, right? Remember, the full moon is that bright, bright illumination on something. And so if old memories are coming back and you're seeing them in a new way, you can thank Mama Moon for that. She is shining the light on that for you. And it's because your soul is ready. Your soul is ready to evolve and see things from a different light. Okay, so now we're going to move to Taurus rising. And for Taurus rising, excuse me, this full moon in Cancer is happening in your third house. Third house is all about communication. It's all about the way you think and your beliefs. A belief is just a thought you keep thinking over and over again until it becomes more solidified. And it's like this thing that you just kind of take for granted, right? And so in the third house, I would say this also covers your limiting beliefs, right? What are those? This would be a great kind of exercise to do for self-care. If you're feeling called on Sunday or Monday at the full moon, to sit down and say, what limiting beliefs do I really feel like I am just done with for myself? For myself. Like I just am not willing to believe this about myself anymore. Maybe something is showing up in your life where you're ready to take a leap. You're ready to start something new. And yet that limiting belief is still like, it's whispering in your ear a little bit. And you're like, no, I'm done with you. Like I really am done with you. I'm ready to move forward without bringing this limiting belief with me. So it could be the way you're thinking about something. It could be a belief. It could be a shift in your perspective on something, because perspective is also of the mind and it's how you think. It could be some way in which you are communicating in an emotional way. A Cancer is water, is our emotions, right? And so you may want to communicate something from the heart, Taurus, to someone, or write it down, or maybe this is for you. Maybe it's about self-love that you want to communicate. Just trust however this is showing up in your third house is right for you. And it's either shining a light on something, or you feel you're ready to release something in this area of communication. Remember, I always say the third house is not just verbal or writing communication. It is our extrasensory communication. It is your psychic abilities. It is your telepathy. It is your intuitive voice speaking to you. And so water is such a powerful conduit for hearing your higher self. So, maybe you want to do a shower meditation. And when you step in the shower, you acknowledge the water and you acknowledge source energy and have gratitude and appreciation. Let the water cleanse your energy and allow your crown chakra to open up so that you may receive the communication from your third house, from Mama Moon shining in the sign of Cancer and beaming these downloads and these messages right to you. Okay, Taurus. So now we're going to move to Gemini rising. And for Gemini rising, this full moon in Cancer is showing up in your second house. The second house is not only the house of your work where you make money, like your job, but it is the house of value. It is the house of worth. And so, of course, I extend that to self-value and self-worth. But it is also really understanding what your values are. You know, what do you value? Maybe it's what do you value in work? Are you being valued in your job, at your workplace? You may be really feeling either that you're not valued at work, or maybe you are, and you're feeling a tremendous amount of appreciation and all of those emotions, because you really are seen and you really are recognized at your place of work. Not everyone has a job where they go out to. And so the second house can very much be your own self-worth and self-value. Perhaps your values are shifting, okay? And maybe that's because something in your life is emotionally moving you right now. And so you are valuing something, maybe even more than you ever have before. There's so many ways that this can play out through the Cancer full moon for you, but just know that it's all around value and worth, and whether that applies to you or your life or your job or how others value you or how you value others, like all the different ways that it's going to play out, just trust however it's resonating for you. Okay, so now we're going to move to Cancer rising. And for Cancer rising, obviously this full moon is illuminating your first house. The first house is all about you, your sense of self. You know, how you see yourself, how you know yourself to be. And so you may be really feeling like there's a version of you that is just done. He or she is floating off into the ethers, and your new self is emerging now in the light of the full moon. So much clarity around that. Maybe you are feeling that this older sense of self, you have sadness around what he or she experienced in the past, and you're needing to do some inner child work where you can nurture and mother yourself. That could be very strong for you at this time. Remember that this energy is about giving yourself what you need emotionally and not needing to get it from anyone else outside of you. And so for Cancer rising, this is all about your relationship with yourself. With yourself. It's all about you. Nobody else even plays into this full moon, okay? It's about you. Even if other people are triggering or awakening or playing some part, the focus needs to be brought back to you and how you can love and nurture and care for yourself at this time. Okay, let's see. For my Leo risings, this energy, full moon in Cancer, is showing up in your 12th house. The 12th house is the deepest and the darkest. Well, one of them anyway. But the 12th house certainly is about solitude and meditation and being in your own energy, alone, being a little bit more recluse, hermiting a little bit. It also applies to your dream state and your subconscious. And so I would say for Leo risings, your dream state could be very powerful this weekend into Monday. Maybe childhood stuff is coming up through the dream state, or memories are surfacing from your subconscious that you have completely forgotten about until now. This could really be very strong for my Leo risings because this is all happening in your 12th house. And so just trust whatever is coming up for you. And if it is really triggering you emotionally, let it. Let the tears come, let the anger come, let the sadness, let the joy, let the tenderness, whatever it is that you're feeling, just let it come through. Because you're processing and you are releasing and you're able to see something now maybe perhaps you were not able to see before. Just trust however this is showing up for you in your life, in your mind, in your dreams. Okay, so we're going to move to Virgo rising. For Virgo risings, this full moon in Cancer is showing up in your 11th house of groups, friends, communities, and your hopes and dreams for the future. And so Virgo rising, you may have a really strong sense right now, a strong emotional sense of those friends who really resonate for you and those who do not. Those, you could literally be experiencing the ending of a friendship because you just know you're just not in line. And you've probably known this for a while, but now this full moon is making it real and true. The ending is here. This could be a one-on-one friendship. It could be a group. It could be a group or community you're affiliated with. And you can either feel the ending is just so clear for you now at this full moon, or you could feel a deep emotional resonance with this group or community or friendships that, are showing up for you now at this full moon, whatever's being highlighted for you, And so you can feel a deeper emotional connection to them, or you could feel like it's time to release and move on. You have to trust however it's showing up for you. And this could also apply to your hopes, dreams, and wishes for your future. You could have a real emotional, understanding of what you really deeply desire moving forward. And if that is what's coming up for you, maybe write this down. Write it down and come back to it. Come back to it in a week, come back to it in a month and say, is this still true for me? Do I still want this moving forward? And it will help you to get clarity and manifest the future that you want to live, that you want to experience. Okay, so now we are going to move to our Libra risings. And for Libra rising, this full moon in Cancer is happening in your most public place of your chart, the 10th house, which is often associated with your career or your kind of your status in the world, right? So not everyone, has a career outside of the home. For some people, it's just who you're known as in the world. Like, I'm Mrs. So-and-so, or I'm Mr. So-and-so, or I'm so-and-so's parent, or, I am, I'm on the board of such and such organization, or everyone knows me to work at the food pantry, or, whatever to volunteer work, right? Like, it's not always affiliated with a career is my point. So your status in the world is you are feeling. That's the key word here. Like, what are you feeling now at this full moon about your status in the outside world? Are you feeling like it's emotionally resonant, or are you feeling like, no, I'm ready to release this status. I'm done with it. I'm ready to move on to my new chapter, whatever that may be for you. If maybe maybe you're retiring, right? Like that's one way this could play out. Of course, there's so many different ways, but whatever it is for you, Libra, you're feeling it. This is Cancer. This is not in the mind. And I know Libras like to think it all through, and that's wonderful. But allow the feeling to move you in the direction. Whatever you're really feeling strongly about. You're feeling it in your body. You're feeling it emotionally. That's the key. If you're going back and forth between your head and your heart, then trust your heart at this full moon. And I know that's difficult for Libras, any of the air signs, but that would be my advice for this full moon in Cancer. And nurture, that's the word here, right? That's that mothering word. Nurture what you're feeling called to next. Who you're going to be in the world next. What's your sense of purpose that's calling you forward? These are the questions, and you need to follow your heart, not your head right now. Okay, beautiful. So now we're going to move to Scorpio rising. And for Scorpio risings, this full moon in Cancer is happening in your 9th house. And the 9th house is all about your beliefs, your expansion, your philosophies, your religion, your spirituality, how you understand the world from the mind. Okay, it's your learning, it's your teaching abilities. And so all of this is coming through the filter of this Cancer energy. And so you may be really having like epiphanies and illuminations around your beliefs now. And do your beliefs nurture who you're expanding into? Are they supportive? Are they protecting your long-term expansion? Scorpios go very deep, and so they feel deeply and they think deeply about everything, right? And so what are you feeling deeply about at this full moon? And does it feel nurturing to you? Does it feel nurturing to you and nurturing your beliefs, or is it going against that? Is it sidestepping that? Because the key here is to allow what you're feeling to show you what's in alignment for you. And if something is not in alignment with your beliefs and the way you perceive the world, then that's being highlighted to you now at this time. And you get to choose, right? Your chart is your world. Your world is your life. The 9th house is about how you see the world. And so it's your world that you're creating in every moment. It's the powers of manifestation, right? And so nurture that in a high vibration, Scorpio, and you will know what that is for you based on how you feel. I hope that made sense. Okay, so for Sagittarius rising, this full moon in Cancer is showing up in your 8th house. The 8th house is the house of death and rebirth. And so you may very well have had to say goodbye to someone in the physical, in a physical way, in the physical death. You may have had to say goodbye to an intimate relationship that is also 8th house. But remember that for every ending, there is a instantaneous new beginning. Even if we cannot see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it quite yet. So just trust if this is showing up as a death of some sort, an ending of some sort for you. Yes, it may feel very emotional. Scorpio rules the 8th house, and so with a Cancer full moon here, this may feel very emotional for you. Allow it to move through you. Just let it flow through you. You may also be culminating, ending some sort of dynamic or entanglement with some entity that you have financial ties to. Trust if this is showing up in your life. This could be taxes or debts or loans or inheritances or any number of shared financial situations. It could very well show up for you in this way. And there could be a real ending here at this point, or a culmination of something that has been going on for quite a while. Trust if this resonates for you. It's not going to resonate for everybody in that way. The 8th house is also about divination, the tarot and astrology and psychology, and understanding the why of life. And so you may experience something emotionally that really gets to the heart of some depth of understanding for you at this full moon, Sagittarius. You may really understand life and the universe and the why to our existence in a whole new way that you never have before. And it may feel, that's the operative word, very emotional for you. Trust however this may be showing up for you at this full moon. For my Capricorn rising, this full moon in Cancer energy is showing up in your 7th house because Cancer and Capricorn are sister signs. You share the same axis. And so while the Cancer full moon was showing up in the 1st house for Cancer, it's showing up in the 7th house across the chart for my Capricorn risings. The 7th house is all about your one-to-one relationships. This could be marriage. This could be just a significant one-to-one relationship. A significant other, a business relationship, one-to-one, even a friendship. Trust however this is showing up for you, but it could very well be an emotional ending for you. And if it is, and this is difficult for you, please know that you're right on time. You can know that something needs to end and you can still feel sad about it. You can know that this is right for you to move on and you can still feel sad about it. You can still grieve the ending. It's not one or the other, it's both. And it can be both. And you have to allow however you feel to just feel. If it's not something happening for you in terms of an ending, full moon ending, it could be an illumination where you're seeing something in this one-to-one relationship in your life that you've never really seen before. It can be a whole new level of emotional intimacy that's being illuminated. It can be an emotional culmination of sorts within the relationship, and you're ready to move to another level together. It doesn't always have to signify an ending. You have to just trust however this may be showing up in your personal life. Okay, and so now we're going to move to our Aquarius rising. And for Aquarius risings, this full moon in Cancer is showing up in your 6th house. The 6th house is all about your everyday routines and rituals, your exercise, your health, your pets. It's how you're of service to others, how you show up for humanity. How are you being of service? Are you kind to people as you walk by them on the street and offer a smile? Are you doing volunteer work? Are you sharing your own personal gifts with the world in some way, shape, or form? Are you feeling like you are emotionally ready to shift in your everyday routines because of something in your life that's triggered you emotionally? So that means something happened and you're like, you know what? I've been putting this off and I'm not putting it off anymore. I feel emotionally driven to start an exercise program. I feel emotionally driven to stop a certain habit that I know is not good for me. Trust however this is showing up for you. It can show up in all of these different ways. The sixth house is about healing in its highest expression. And so what are you feeling emotionally called to heal within you? Physically, emotionally, spiritually? Trust however this is showing up for you. Something could be illuminated, something could be ending. Just trust however you're being called to connect with this energy in your sixth house. Okay. And finally, now we're going to move to our Pisces rising. And for Pisces rising, this full moon in Cancer, fellow water sign, is showing up in your fifth house of creativity. Pisces, you are already so creative. And so this beautiful water energy, this full moon, it's illuminating for you a whole new level of seeing yourself as a creator being, creating your own reality. This doesn't just mean, oh, I'm creative because I like to paint, right? Or I'm great at crochet or scrapbooking, or I'm a welder. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to play out in a very tangible, creative way like that. It can show up in you seeing yourself as a creator. It could be your connection to source energy. And for Pisces rising, you already have such a strong connection. So this could really be illuminated now. You could be feeling an overwhelming feeling emotionally of connecting with source energy. This could be around children in your life, your own inner child. This could be in some romantic way, whether it's with another person or just romanticizing your life in some beautiful way. This could be a culmination, an ending, a very emotional ending for you in some connection in the fifth house, whether that's romantic connection, child connection, your inner child. Trust however this is coming up for you, flowing for you. This full moon is either releasing something, ending something, or illuminating something for you around your connection with source energy, around your inner child, around you. Maybe it's around you being a child to someone in your life. Trust however this is showing up for you. Allow all of this water to flow through you. Let the tears come if that's what you're feeling. Let them be cleansing and cathartic. And know that whatever is, if there is anything ending now, that the fifth house is all about creation and So something is being created anew as well. Very important to remember that when one door closes, it is also opening at the very same moment. And so we may not be able to perceive it depending on our perspective, but it's still true. And so when you're ready, you can connect with the, not so much the ending energy, but the creative and the new beginning energy. Okay. So that pretty much wraps up my interpretations for all 12 signs for this Cancer full moon. I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me and sharing your energy with me. This is an energy exchange, and I would love to hear from you how any of this may have resonated, how you're feeling with this full moon energy in Cancer. It's my intention to support you and for us to create a safe community here. And I really would love to connect with you, whether that's just by you hitting the like button or sharing a comment or sharing this podcast with someone who you feel could be supported. So thank you so much. I will see you all soon under the moon. Bye-bye for now.